First of all, I apologize for the technical issues and thank you for the support. I would like to welcome you to the Eco Museum Iria Village project. Next, please. And please allow me to introduce myself. I have studied history, archaeology and history of art. I work in the wider public sector in not relevant to my studies working field. And I live in Nafplio, one of the most historical and touristic towns in Greece. In 2012, I have started developing my family fields located in Iria village. You can see them in the circle. Next, please. Thank you. In a small village of about 30 minutes by car, nearby the sea, as you see. Next, please. With a population of about 600 people, it's a farming village with a summer tourist period of about 4 months. And the special characteristic, the cultivation of Iria artichoke, a hallmark crop of the village since 1947. In 2012, it was granted as a PGE product, protected geographical indication product. It is worth to mention that 85% of the artichoke production in Greece is grown in Iria. So my village is in a distance of about 2.5 hours from Athens and in a distance of 40 minutes from 3 UNESCO's World Heritage Monuments. You can see Epidavros, Mykine, and Tiryns. Next, please. And talking about heritage, this is my family heritage, or in other words, what I found there. First of all, I found fields, my family fields. Second, the typical, before 30s, traditional Greek house kept its original household, and an old stone mill with oil machines inside. Both buildings, the house and the mill, were constructed by the famous for their technique Maisons of Lancadia, Arcadia. And both buildings were in the need of restoration. To be honest, as you can see, the mill, it was necessary to be restored again. Next, please. And then I took the decision for the fields. I started the organic farming of wheat, among them old Greek traditional varieties, and of course artichoke, both of them as limited production, transforming the products in exquisite taste. Second, about the house, I decided to maintenance of the building, but not only the building. My purpose was to highlight only items, of course, but also local stories about customs and history. And third, the mill, building restoration, and the evaluation of the mechanical equipment, aiming to work again. Next, please. And above all, I thought that I would like to change the way we see tradition, because I think there are two ways we see tradition. First way, as a not alive part of the past and impossible to evolve. And second, as a creative opportunity to adapt it to the present and be inspired for the future. So for me, it was and it is an aspiration. And talking according to the session of today's meeting, artistic and cultural heritage becomes an element for raising the standards of life in countryside. Next, please.
Just a moment.
Next, please.
Yes.
Thank you. So I turned the decision to a project, and in my mind, I had to fix a puzzle in 3 pieces. And transforming into a project language, I had to take 3 key actions. Key action 1, about the fields and the cultivation, it was the conservation and promotion of biodiversity. Key action 2, about the mill and the house, conservation and promotion of the local cultural heritage, tangible and intangible both. And third key action, the connection with local enterprises aiming to an agri-tourist model. Next, please. The idea was not new. The idea already existed, and it was introduced by the French museologist Devarin. I'm sorry for if I'm not saying the right name. It was the concept of eco-museum, where talking about museum, it's not strictly building a closed area. It's a wider area, including an open-air museum, live, including conservation of local heritage, and of course, the participation of the local community. Next, please. So the plan, Eco-Museum Iria Village, included the idea of visitors, that visitors will have the chance to visit farms and get acquainted with the crops, meet local history and monuments, have an experiential tour in the old way of life through visiting the home and the mill, and of course gastronomy, because it's a really strong part of intangible heritage. So in cooperation with the local taverna, the small typical Greek restaurant, we decided to eat local, organizing a meal with the village flavors in the house or at the taverna. And at the same time, all sweet flavors at the coffee shop in the small square of the village. Next, please. This project worked as a test model for 2 years, about 60 Swiss visitors, in cooperation with Anifion Enterprise, specialized individuals in the field of cultivation and product development. They operate from Greece and Switzerland, aiming to deliver high-quality Greek organic products to European markets. So our plan included 1-day tour at the village, local history, fields, house, mill, and gastronomy. Next, please. So after your lunch, it is time to go back again to emphasize in session 1, gastronomy as intangible cultural heritage. We think that it was good to the menu to remind of the village stable, and it was based mainly in bio-local products, especially artichoke and wheat, as I told you. And it was planned to meet different needs for vegan and vegetarian. And we decided to use the traditional tableware of the house that belonged to my grandmother, almost 100 years old. So we decided, just a small reference, to have a handmade cheese pie with flour from the old traditional wheat variety, Greek salad, artichoke salad, handmade pasta, again with flour from old traditional wheat variety, artichoke with lamb, with rice, homemade bread, of course, wine and coffee. This was the typical menu of the village. Next, please. And talking about exquisite flavors, the organic cultivation of wheats and artichokes led us to cooperate with the oldest traditional pasta making shop in Naples. And this led to an artichoke pasta product. You can see it in the picture. That way, we succeeded the connection with a rural area as area with a visitor of a tourist area. Next, please. And where are we now? The mill is ongoing project. You can see the difference from the left, the old mill to today's picture. And we are moving on. Next, please. We strongly also believe in the networking, and I decided that I have to participate in non-profits and projects, many of them aiming to the preservation of Greek traditional architecture or Greek traditional seeds or ideas or stories, etc., etc. So this is still ongoing. Next, please. And of course, the COVID situation is ongoing. My first thought was that I have not to see this situation as an obstacle. In fact, this situation made me believe stronger than before that the idea of this project is better than before, and maybe is the future idea. So it gave me strength to continue. Next, please. And to this feeling came the official statement or survey by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the famous OECD. It is available through the link you can see. It says that about the COVID after COVID era, there may be a shift in buying habits to favor local goods and tourism sites, as well as production from small local businesses and primary producers. For example, in terms of tourism, overcrowded destinations might see high reductions in tourism flows, while smaller rural destinations may become more popular. And it says the Veneto region for an example. Next, please. It also describes. Sorry?
Please be as short as you can.
Of course, yes, it's almost at the end. It describes a lot of opportunities. Next, please, for the rural areas. Next, please. And I think that some of these opportunities, in our case, depending on the special features of each place and if a state policy aiming to build a new productive model, could create a new generation of rural inhabitants. Next, please. So it seems that many of our plans started as vision will be implemented in the future as missions. And to be continued, of course. Next, please. I would like to thank you, and I'm looking forward to a not virtual tour. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I would like to ask for all of the participants to be a little